Hello everyone, this is Istia Ananishi. Welcome to my presentation. Today my presentation topic is advocacy of children right, and I'm going to discuss about education right of the children in details. So let's start. Advocacy is the role of supporting and defending the needs and rights and interests of another persons. So when it's about children right, it is support and speak up for a children needs and rights which can be offered by someone on behalf. As a role of early childhood practitioner, they are ethically obliged to promote and protect children's rights in order to enhance children's health and well-being. They advocate for the development and implementations of laws and practice policies related to children. Educators gather information from families and work together to preserve children's rights and promote child-friendly communities. Advocacy is important to protect and respect the children's rights so that their opinion can be valued. It influences educators' pedagogical practice and facilitates learning environment. Educators provide education and care services to children in a way where the dignity and the rights of each child are always maintained. Now let's talk about children's rights. According to experts' opinion, rights are the language of the importance, deliver a common standard applied to all in society's government and those holding out the belief of universal justice. Same as human rights, children must be treated with equality, respect, and dignity. The early years learning framework principles believe about children's right that children are competent and able to make decisions and express their feelings. Its principles support educator pedagogy practice while learning are holistic, integrated, and responsive. It offers effective ways of building a fair and inclusive learning community. Children acquire a sense of community identity required for a meaningful community engagement. The National Quality Framework, it mentioned that the rights and the best interests of the child are paramount. The NQF elements number 5 is all about children's rights, and where the elements number 5 and 5.1 mention children learn to see themselves as a competent, capable, and respected, and the last one of NQF element 5.2 it mentioned dignity and rights of the children. Even in the Millennium Development Goals number 2 and 4 point out about achieving universal primary education and reducing children mortality. Let's move on the topic on United Nations Convention Right of the Children. This agreement adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1989, which is promised to protect children's rights and specify the responsibilities of governments. All rights are equally important and connected. Early childhood educators will follow the principles set out in the convention in their daily practice. Now I'm going to discuss about Article number 28. It mentioned all children have the right to an education. In the UNCRC, it said every child has the right to get an education that prepares them for the rest of their lives, makes the most of their potential, and respect their family, cultural, and other identities as well as their native tongue. Another expert mentioned children's right education is a form of citizenship education or human rights education where children learn about their rights and responsibilities in schools. Article number 28 included the following guidelines. Number 1 is free primary education to all. Number 2 is it stimulate the development of different forms of secondary educations. Number 3 is availability of educational and vocational information and accessibility of higher education. Number 4 is steps to encourage regular attendance at schools and the reductions of dropout rates. Number 5 is offering financial assistance, and number 6 is promotes international cooperation in education related issues. So making it easier for the people to obtain scientific and technological knowledge and cutting edge teaching practice. So why do we need education right for the children? Children have a much greater chance of growing up in a society that supports them when their rights are upheld. Education rights forms the foundations for democratic societies and economic growth. Education is a key social and cultural right and plays an important role in reducing poverty and child labor. It helps to promote democracy, peace, tolerance, and development. It increases the ability to develop decision skills, conflict resolution skills, positive social relationships, and responsibility and other abilities. It developed by a democratic classroom and school environment characterized by mutual respect. From school, children receive the knowledge and skill that necessary for effective democratic citizenship. Now, there is some challenges that many countries has to face while implementing this right, such as the impact of poverty on children's right to education, which made it more difficult for poorer children to access education. More than 130 million girls in the world are currently denied the right to an education due to the effects of global lockdowns over the past years. Some underdeveloped countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, and Bhutan's gender-based violence, which force girls for early marriage and early pregnancy, create the barrier for implement children's education right. Lack of governmental fund, less infrastructure and learning materials, shortage of quality and trained teachers are also the reason of this, and the exclusion of disabilities children. So a risk conflict country live in this a risk conflict country to live in, for example, Afghanistan and Congo, etc., is also the challenge of educations. But apart from those, some countries actually follow to provide education under their poverty line. For example, being a poorest region, Rajasthan, the Children's Parliament has run the night school since 1993, so that the children of combined work and schooling has the opportunity to study. So, what is the right for children with disability and special needs? UNCR's Article 23 entails children with any kind of disability must have a special care and support. Children with disability or special needs have the same rights to educations like others. They have rights to go to a mainstream government, independent, or Catholic school regardless of their disability. They might also be able to go to a government or independent special school. Education rights are protected by the Disability Discrimination Act 1992 and the Disability Standard for Education 2005. Australia government also funded for disabled children study and special care. So my last discussed point of today's presentations is educators' role towards children's education right. They provide curriculum that follows all the principles to make children aware of their rights, culture, values, and identities that would react to the involvement of children's and families' lives. Educators need to ensure a structure and process in their practice so that children can participate in the matters that affect them and they can express their opinion. Provide their child-centered, inclusive, and democratic, protective, and sustainable and child empowering pedagogical method. So in daily practice of teaching they can organize disabled friendly activities so that they don't have discrimination thought. And teachers should have a good understanding of the convention and educational social benefit of rights educations before they implement any strategic and lesson plan for the children. Educators can arrange participatory activities such as cooperative learning, social issue discussions, role play to make them aware about rights. So, in my point of view, as a basic right for children, it is very essential for us to think about those challenges, and all the countries should work together and help each other to implement this right. So, that's all about my today's presentation. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.